Alright guys, so today I want to talk about tips and tricks when dealing with the letdown. Now what is letdown? Letdown reflex is when you're breastfeeding and all of a sudden your milk starts flowing freely. And if your experience is anything like mine, it can be to the point where your baby can't handle it, starts choking, coughing, whatever else, and that's what she did. She did fine. She handled it. She couldn't keep up and she would choke every time. I felt like she wasn't eating enough because she would just stop feeding as soon as that happened, which was also painful for me because my body's trying to feed and no one's eating. And I felt like she, as a newborn, needed to be eating more than she was. So, tips and tricks for dealing with that. The things that I've come to find have made our experience more enjoyable. So, first of all, we'll talk about dealing with a letdown during the day. During the day, randomly, if you have any kind of happy, emotional, lovey-dovey feelings, you can let down. If the wind blows, you can let down. Honestly, I felt like I was just letting down for no reason. But I was taught that when this happens, that you can compress your breast and hold them until the letdown reflex has passed, and generally you won't have any leaking. So if you do have leaking though, or if you can't feel your letdown, because some women can't, you can wear breast pads that absorb any kind of leakage and prevent your shirt from getting wet. They've also made a product that's similar to breast pads, but they are little cups and they rest in the same exact place underneath your bra, and it actually is supposed to collect milk so that you will be able to use it again if you have any kind of leakage. I could see this being a great benefit, but for me, honestly, if I was starting to let down, I really just want to prevent it as much as possible because I was letting down a lot more than some little cup was going to be able to hold. So those are kind of the tips and tricks I figured out during the day. At nighttime, honestly, when you're letting down during the night, pumping is a great option because it helps build your supply, your freezer supply. It helps build your personal supply. But sometimes sleeping is more important than jumping up and trying to pump. So that being said, the same option of compressing, but a lot of times I would sleep through it and not even know it was happening. I would just wake up and me and my husband would be soaking wet, and that's uncomfortable. It grossed him out a little bit sometimes, I feel like. And so what I ended up doing was sleeping with a towel, either wrapped around me or beside me, however I was laying. So dealing with the letdown during feeding. This is actually where I ended up calling a lactation consultant with them. My previous baby I breastfed for 7 months and never had this problem. Fed her for a month and a half, never had a problem. But with her, from the very beginning, I was having problems. Every time I let down, she would choke, she would drown. I felt like I was a horrible mother. She was going to aspirate it and end up with pneumonia or something crazy like that. Call one. That's all I'm saying. It's not going to hurt a single thing. If you have any kind of questions, worries, concerns, if you think something is being done wrong, just call one. I mean, goodness, baby. Even if they can't see you, even if a lactation consultant doesn't have the time to see you, they may be able to just answer your questions over the phone, give you some ideas. They have oodles and boodles of information, things that you may never even think of, things you may never even find online. Because I looked to try to figure out what in the world I was doing wrong, what I could be doing better, could not figure it out, ended up just calling somebody. And this woman within 5 minutes had my problem solved. So, fix the problem early on, call somebody, see somebody, just go to your local hospital and ask if there's a lactation consultant that would even just watch you feed and make sure everything's going right if you have any concerns at all. So here's what she told me. She told me that I have a very strong letdown, which I could have told any of you. I knew that I had a very strong letdown. And she said that when that happens, I have a couple options. I can feed in a laying down position on my back in any kind of like reclined position, laying flat on my back, if my baby could feed like that. And this is because the gravity pulls the milk down and out. So if I am lean forward feeding, I'm more likely to have a heavier forward flow. If I'm laying back, then it's a little less forceful, if that makes sense. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this girl has another tooth coming in. Oh my gosh, let me see. Let me see. 3 teeth. What am I going to do with you? 3 teeth. Show everybody. Show your teeth off. Say, look at my teeth first. Oh my goodness. 3 teeth. 3 baby teethers. Ah. Are you excited? Are you excited to have 3 whole teeth? You're like a little person already. Goodness. The other thing she told me was to use my hand to restrict the flow of milk. She said squeezing will eliminate the flow, and releasing will allow a certain amount of flow. So if I'm barely squeezing, I can give her a break, as in she's not just like trying to gulp it down as fast as she can, until we get past the very first rush of milk, and then after that usually she could handle it. Usually if she choked though, she would want to just stop feeding. She would just not want to eat, and that was where my problem was. So we started that. We started laying back positions. We started I would reduce the amount of flow as she was eating, and we did fine. We got through it. She gained all the weight she was supposed to gain, perfectly healthy, and made our experience so much more enjoyable. Alright, so on to the opposite side of the spectrum. If you were having trouble letting down, if you were having trouble getting your milk to flow while your baby is eating, the first thing you need to do is relax, because your body needs to be calm and relaxed, or your milk will not flow. It won't produce. It's not going to be an enjoyable experience. So you have to figure out whatever it is that when you sit down to feed, whatever it takes for you to relax. If it's sitting in a quiet place, getting a drink of water, getting a snack, and if it's skin on skin, stripping your baby down, taking your shirt off, just letting them lay there for a while on your chest, calm music, total quiet, being in a warm place, or with a fan, whatever it is that helps you relax, because I'm telling you that more than anything is going to help your milk production as well as your milk flow. So next thing you can do, I've always heard this for women who are going back to work and need to pump while they're at work. I've always heard to take a blanket with you so you can smell it and smell your baby, and that's supposed to help. Now, I thought that was kind of silly. I never tried it. I, of course, was never pumping away from them or anything. Goodness, girls, what's going on? But then one day I was feeding Mia, and I was laying there with her and I'm feeding her, and I was all stressed out, and I was thinking about a bunch of other stuff, and it was just routine. I just latched her on, laid down, and we'd been laying there for 5 minutes, and I finally looked at her and realized she had not been eating at all. Like, she had just been laying there suckling, but not actually eating. I hadn't heard her swallow once. So, I kind of panicked. I was kind of thinking, oh no, what's going on? What are we doing wrong? And I knew it was just me. I knew it was that I was all stressed out, and I knew that I was going to have to put all of that aside so that she could eat. And I snuggled her up close, and I smelled her hair. And it was just kind of a reflex, but I just kind of, just like that, just smelled her hair. And while I was holding her, snuggling her, and bam. I mean, 2 seconds later, heavy, perfect flow. She's eating. She's happy. And that's a trick that I've used many times since then. It came really natural, and I think it was because I had that. I think it was because I had that knowledge in the background. Eating healthy, of course. Make sure you keep eating healthy. Another thing you can try is taking a warm shower. I know for me, when I was in pain and like nearly engorged because someone hadn't been eating enough or whatever, I would take a warm shower. It would help everything relax and start flowing so that I could get back on track with the feeding. Okay, so I hope all of this rambling made sense to you. I hope that it helped you out. And I love you, and we will see you soon. Bye. Bye.